Tonight, Thịt Kho Tàu, a dish older than the country it is cooked in, from the Mekong Delta, where the river runs brown with silt, and the catfish have fed the people of the South for as long as anyone can remember. In Vietnamese, kho is not a recipe, it is a verb, a way of being patient. To kho something is to let it sit in caramel and fish sauce and thyme until the liquid gives up everything it has. The restaurants rush it, they cannot help it. But here, in a clay pot over a low flame, there is nowhere to be and nothing to do but wait. Servings 4. 15 minutes of preparation, 35 minutes of cooking. Total time 50 minutes. 2 pounds of catfish steaks cut thick. 1/3 of a cup of fish sauce. 5 cloves of garlic and 4 shallots. 3/4 of a cup of coconut water. 3 bird's eye chilies. 1 teaspoon of black peppercorns. 2 tablespoons of cooking oil. And 1/4 cup of palm sugar, the color of dark honey. It begins in the mortar. 5 cloves of garlic and 4 shallots crushed slowly against the stone until they break open and the kitchen fills with their sharpness. Then the black peppercorns ground in last, cracking, releasing their warm, woody heat. The catfish waits in the clay pot, each steak laid down gently and coated with the crushed garlic and shallot, pressed into every surface so that nothing is left bare. The pot is cool now. It does not know yet what is coming. In a separate pan, the oil warms, and then the palm sugar. This is the moment the whole dish turns on. The sugar melts, slowly at first, then all at once, darkening from gold to amber to the deep brown edge just before bitterness. Too soon, and it is only sweet. Too late, and it is burnt. The cook learns this point by heart, by smell, by the color of the smoke. Now the fish sauce, poured carefully into the hot caramel, where it hisses and folds into the sugar. Then the coconut water, 3/4 of a cup, loosening it all until the caramel dissolves into a glaze the color of river water at dusk. The hot liquid is poured over the catfish, slowly, until each steak is half submerged and gleaming. And on top, 3 bird's eye chilies, small and red, patient. They will give their heat to the whole pot without ever being eaten. And now the flame goes low. 30 minutes, uncovered, the liquid barely moving. It reduces and thickens and climbs the sides of the fish turning from a sauce into a glaze, into a lacquer. The kitchen grows quiet. There is nothing to do now but listen to the soft sound of caramel and time. The pot itself has a name, toe, a small clay vessel, earthen, unglazed, made from the same delta mud that the catfish swim through. Clay holds heat the way memory holds a smell, slowly and without letting go. It is why the simmer never scorches, why the glaze thickens evenly from the edges in. This is not a feast dish. It never was. Thịt Kho Tàu is everyday food, the kind a grandmother makes on a gray afternoon when the rain comes sideways off the river. A little fish and a great deal of rice. It was built for frugality, for families who made small things last, and somehow, in being humble, it became unforgettable. At its heart are two things Vietnam cannot cook without: nuoc mắm, fish sauce, pressed from anchovies and salt, and the long patience of the sun, and nuoc mao, burnt sugar caramel, bitterness and sweetness held in the same breath. Together they make the taste the Vietnamese call man ma, savory, deep, and a little tender, the flavor of home. The coconut water belongs to the south, to Binh Tre, the province of 1,000 palms, where the delta meets the sea, enrounds the salt, softens the caramel, and makes the glaze shine. Ask a Vietnamese family living far from home what they miss most, and many will not say pho or spring rolls. They will say this: a clay pot of fish and steam and the smell of the kitchen they grew up in. To serve it, you do not plate it. You bring the whole pot to the table, still ticking with heat, and set it beside a bowl of white rice. You spoon the dark glaze over the rice, and you eat slowly, the way it was cooked. Thịt Kho Tàu is the rarest kind of recipe, one that has survived war and hunger and an ocean of distance. It survives because it was never trying to be impressive. It was only trying to feed the people who loved it. And the table, at last, is set.